Hey everybody, welcome back to Land Yacht Garage. In today's video, we are going to be working on the 85 F250, soon to be F150. So, let me go around and show you guys what's going on. So, first we got the puppy. He's not so much of a puppy anymore. This is the 85 F250 converting into an F150. So, quick update on the full wheel before we get started here. I've been fucking around with the wiring on it. I'm sending this to my buddy, and he's gonna go ahead and fix it because I'm done with it. So, here it is. Nothing's changed since the last video. I wasn't planning on filming any of this. So, this was an original 85 F250. I say that, but I'm not 100% sure. It's titled as an 85, but let me tell you guys why I don't think that. Third brake light. Bullnoses had no third brake light for 80 and 81, and maybe 82, I can't remember. 83 and up had to have a third brake light. There's no Bondo in there. I've already magneted it. There's no Bondo, no signs of bodywork or anything where a third brake light is. But anyway, F250, full-wheel drive, and has a 408 stroker with a built C6. That's all going bye-bye, well, the transmission and everything else but the motor. So, here, I just got this done a couple of days ago. We are on a 4-inch rear drop, which total, it's about 8 inches because F250s are obviously higher, and removed the rear lift blocks, did the drop, so I gotta tighten up the shocks and stuff. Brand new Dorman leaf springs, U-bolts, newer drop shocks. I've had this drop kit for about 4 years now. I meant 2, sorry. So this is pretty much all wrapped up. I gotta paint some spots on the frame, wash the whole back half, double check the U-bolts, tighten down the shocks, and put the dry shaft in and make one brake line, and this is 100% all set. But in the front, it gets more difficult. For now, we are running a Sterling 10 1/4, not staying in here. I have over here, we have a Ford 9-inch with, I believe, 389 gears with a Detroit locker. But I got to cut off these I-beams because they're welded. I got to cut off the plate stuff because this was in a lifted mud truck, so the axle has been rotated up. So I got to degree and do all that shit. I'm going to have the housing and center section sandblasted and doing a rear disc brake conversion. I hope it's 31 spline axles. And of course, annoying Toyotas have to drive by. So that's the original plan, but that is later on. We're getting rid of the C6 next year, getting rid of the bench seat, and over there we have a T5 that will be going in this. So, front, I found this whole new with the 3-inch drop beams, brand new radius arm, drop shocks, new springs, all new brakes, bearings, calipers, ball joints, everything for $400. But the Dana 50 twin traction beam with the leaf springs has different axle mounting plates than the twin I-beam F150s with the Dana 44. So, I have a guy, he's actually sending me the brackets that I need off in a twin traction beam truck. So those will hopefully be here tomorrow. They were supposed to be here today. He mailed them off in Pennsylvania. Because I went to bolt this in once I got out the twin traction, the Dana 50. Yeah. So I can't do anything until those come in. So I will see you guys when those come in. It is now multiple days later, It's Sunday night, actually, and brackets are finally here. This is what I've been needing. They came in earlier in the week. Sorry, they came in Friday. So, here they are. That's what I've been needing. So, gotta get this front end pulled out. I've done nothing on the truck. I had a whole bunch of shit I wanted to do this weekend, none of which happened. I ended up helping my neighbor the whole weekend, pretty much. Well, hanging out, really. So, I gotta get this front end out of here, unbolt those brackets, and have a fun time bolting these ones in, knocking out the rivets, which the guy already looks like he tried to do. So, yeah. Well, they really don't give you a lot of room between the oil pan. But good thing those bolts, I think, can stay in there. I hope they can. Yeah. They don't give you much room. So, out here the next day, got this bump stop off, got the brake line off, and the bracket because it mounts in the shock tower now. So, that's all good, but I gotta burn off that rivet because that shares a bolt that holds in the cross member and bolts the shock tower on. So I gotta cut off that rivet. Working on this axle pivot. I think this is definitely foreshadowing. I did a quick measurement from here to where the coil spring would go, and I'm pretty sure I can reuse that one. This one just had to relocate from here to over here. But I gotta cut one hole somewhere around here, so I'm unbolting this power steering return line. And it's leaking a little bit of oil. It's been in here for a week or two, which I think most of it is coming from the training lines. Because some reason, the guy that restored this truck, I would really hope he replies to my messages one day because I have so many goddamn questions. It's not even funny. Everything was rubber. Go watch the previous video on this truck. It was about, I think it was in May, so 4 or 5 months ago. See, the hack job was the fuel line. It's all pulled away from the frame now, but there was about 20 adapter, like, not 20, like 5 adapters on this fuel line that was all rubber and then some plastic and no hard line. That went from 3/8 to 5/16 to quarter in some spots. Complete hack job. So I did 3/8 aluminum line from the front to the back. So I guess I'm going to get another roll of that same 3/8 aluminum line, and I am going to do the transmission cooler lines, which, will I be able to get it all in with fittings and everything? No. But if I can manage to have this much rubber fuel line instead of the whole fucking thing, that's a lot better. So, because you can just see how, like, why? So, that's enough talking about that. I'm getting this power steering line off, cut a hole in that, paint the bracket, get this side bolted in, cut that rivet off, bolt the shock tower in, cut holes for that, and then move ahead to the radius arm. I still gotta get a rivet out of the frame, so, yay. So, both I-beams are in. It's still going to be way lower, but my jack stands are maxed out. But it looks like I can reuse that one. Yeah, looks like I can reuse that one. Got that hole cut. Got that mount bolted in. I just got to paint it. Next steps are going to be chopping off that rivet. And if you guys are doing this, the radius arm brackets, it's a pain in the ass to do just the bushings. I honestly think if you have cutting torches, especially on a four-wheel drive, it's easier to replace the mount and the bushing. Let me tell you why. On four-wheel drives and obviously two-wheel drives, but on two-wheel drives it's a lot easier, especially if you're in the Rust Belt. You're going to want to do this. You actually got to unbolt the coil, unbolt the shock. If you have a sway bar, you got to unbolt that. You got to actually pull it out of the pivot in order to slide the axle forward, technically, to replace the bushings. When if you're doing the mount too, you can just cut off the old mount, leave this all intact, bolt on the bushings and the mount and everything onto the radius arm, and then just bolt the mount up. I ran through that on my truck when it was an F150. It's now an F350. We didn't replace the radius arm bushings for years. We drove it around for about 2 years with a bad radius arm bushing because that was a four-wheel drive and 30-year-old truck in the Rust Belt, and none of it was coming off, and it did not come off. So there we go on that. I got to get some work done here, and I'm hoping. Reason I'm in kind of a rush now is today's Monday. This video needs to be done Thursday, and I'd really like to have this truck on the ground and pulled outside. So, see you guys when I make more progress. Well, shock tower's fully bolted on. It's jacked up here. I have the shock nut on to, make the spring less explosive. Funny thing, I was looking at these calipers. Didn't dawn on me at first. Fucking bleeders at the bottom. Apparently installing calipers takes a lot of brain skill. No idea. Trying to bolt in this, trying to get the radius arm lined up, and there's not even a bolt to go off of. So luckily, I still have the Bronco, so I can look and kind of see where that is bolted together. I'm probably gonna have to get another jack to jack up here. So yeah, it'd be a lot better if I at least had one bolt hole to go off of, but I don't. So measurements, I guess. So this side is wrapped up pretty close. Just gotta do 2 more holes right there. Did these ones. So the truck is actually, this side is on its own weight now. So shocks bolted in, everything. Definitely gonna need to go for an alignment as soon as possible. So there we go. Just gonna get those 2 bolts in and move on to the other side, which I haven't even got off the spring shackle, the shock, or the front shackle. So that side's going to be a lot more work. I don't think I'm going to get this done today, but I'm definitely going to get it done tomorrow, hopefully. Well, that's a hell of a lot better. As you can see, alignment is way off. She is very low. This is a 235/70. 235/75. Obviously this is not the size we're going to be running. I think I might do like a 205. I'm not sure. I'm actually going to put up a post on the OBS Fords page on Facebook and see if anybody's running a 3-inch drop on 17/8 wheels. Because that'll help me out a lot on tire size, because I don't really have anything to go off of. And obviously these are way skinnier than an 8-inch wheel. And they barely rub the radius arm at full lock. I still don't have the steering in, but yeah, that is a hell of a lot better. This side, I just lowered the jack stand to get the ride height. But yeah, it was, it's now right to about halfway up my stomach. Before, the hood was up here, something like that. It was pretty big. I should have, if I remembered, I would have taken before and after measurements. Obviously this tire is flat, but I forgot to take before and after measurements. And as you may or may not notice, the mud flaps and the wheel trim is gone. And it looks way better without it. Yeah, obviously mud flaps would have had to go anyway, but looks way better without the wheel trim. So, on to the passenger side, which that's going to probably wait till later today or maybe even tomorrow, because this took all of 6 hours to do this side. So there we go, making progress. Okay guys, so it is now the next day. Got some updates on that. But first, I have a big rant about United States Postal Service. If you don't want to hear it, skip ahead about 30 seconds. This is my 1993 Yamaha Big Bear that I just picked up about a week ago. And I picked it up, had no wiring harness, so I ordered one off Amazon for 35 bucks. It was for a Warrior. I figured they'd be the same. They're not. Oh well. So, in New York, there was one on eBay for 100 bucks. Well, when I went to purchase it, they asked me if I wanted it shipped with FedEx or USPS, and I absolutely hate USPS. So I said FedEx. Well, they shipped it with USPS anyway. So New York, it's coming from New York. I'm in New Hampshire. There's one state, Vermont, in between us. Guess what? I checked it. I ordered it Thursday or Friday, I can't remember. Shipped out that same day. Checked it. It's in New Orleans, Louisiana. How the fuck does it make it from New York to Louisiana to go to New Hampshire? I have no fucking clue. So I am extremely pissed off about that. Not the first time that's happened. And it somehow took those brackets 5 days to make it from Pennsylvania, which is on the other side of New York, to New Hampshire. So yeah, let's get back to the bull news. I have no idea. Oh, I think I showed you guys where it is now. I ended up airing up that tire last night, but I have a problem. Well, I think it's a problem. So this front end came out of a 92 or 93 OBS. I can tell you that because it has the pins for the calipers. When 94 and up used a bolt-on caliper, which I think this side is lower, way lower than it's gonna be. But I have that loosely bolted on, the steering rod, and it's binding. So I think it's the pitman arm, but I'm not sure because it's kind of like a little drop pitman arm. But I'm not 100% sure because from my understanding, all the pitman arms are the same. But I have found one for an 85 F150 two-wheel drive that by the pictures, it looks flat and not angled, which would give me pretty much what I need. Because I could have sworn, since this came out of 92 and 93, it's the same as the 80 to whenever. And the only thing different is 94 and up. But I guess I could be wrong. Oh well. So I'm going to get this thing jacked back up in the air so I can go ahead and get started on that side. Well, she's slightly warm and I haven't been cutting on it for about 5 minutes. Now I just have to deal with some rivets. And then I got to get the tower bolted on with one bolt because one bolt lines up. Get that bolted in, cut holes for that, get that bolted on. Then get the front end under it, radius arm bolted on, and then I can make holes for that bracket and then bolt that on and la-di-da-da-da. Same as that side. Okay, rant number 2 in this video. LMC truck. I love LMC. I've been using them for literally years. Getting the shock tower bolted on. And the other side, so it comes with these big bolts. It's supposed to have 2. This side came with 2. I ordered the hardware kit that doesn't come with these. This is an extra $6. Well, when I did that side, it was missing one of these big bolts. It had all the rest of them, except it was missing one of these big bolts. So I'm going to assemble this side. Hey, it has both big bolts. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The big bolts go at the bottom. So 3 holes. They only sent 2 of these size. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not really ranting. Well, I am. If I'm paying extra for something, it should come with the quantity needed. But it doesn't. So, a little while later, got this side of the front end in, bolted in. The shock is tightened, well, loosely bolted in there. Working on the radius arm, I gotta clamp it here. This side's being a real pain in the ass, but whatever. I just gotta put a clamp here, tighten that down, and then that will kick it where it needs to go. So, I'm almost done here. Not really, though. Still gotta do this radius arm. Gotta put the nuts on for the axle pivots, tighten those down. Do my brake line, which I have one for this side, I think. If not, you can reuse the F250 ones. Wouldn't really recommend it, but I am. Tighten down the shock. Put my brake line on. Put the wheel on. And then the truck will fully be on the ground. I still gotta bleed the brakes. I gotta make one rear brake line, which is no big deal. Bolt in the dry shaft. Oh, do the steering, which isn't gonna be right, but I think it's gonna be good enough to yard drive, because I'm not sure. Worst thing is it'll break the drag link, which kind of needs to be replaced anyway. I'm not sure what the hell I'm gonna do. I might order a complete tie rod, drag link, kit, and pitman arm for 85 F150 two-wheel drive and do everything, because I'm pretty sure the front ends are the same. So anyway, Jesus, enough talking. I'm gonna go ahead and get this wrapped up, and hopefully next time I see you guys, this will be fully on the ground on its own weight. Well, time to go on a hunt for tires. Haha. Right here. Our new wheels actually just shipped, so these will be on for maybe a week. Still gotta get tires, still not sure what size tires, but these will do as rollers for now. Well, it's fully on the ground, but for some reason, the radius arm's not tight. Shock's not tight, but this side is absolutely hammered for some reason. I don't know. Weird. Well, I'm gonna go ahead. I gotta get the dry shaft in it. I have it in by like 1 bolt. So you gotta at least find one more for that. And I'm gonna go ahead, pull this outside, see how it looks. Okay, let's see what happens. This side is definitely way lower. I guess it could be because of that radius arm, but wow. This side is fucking hammered. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get it backed over there so I can wash it. Well, it made it to over here. Something is way off. Obviously, it needs an alignment. Yeah, toe is way off, which the steering is not right at all. Yeah, not. I think it's the pitman arm. It has to be the pitman arm. I just don't see what else it could be. Got the whole back washed up. It's a lot cleaner. Not perfect, but a lot better. Kind of washed back of the cab. And now I am left with an absolute mess. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna end this video here or what I'm gonna do. So I think that is gonna go ahead and do it for today's video. Truck is disgusting, but probably another hour or two worth of work and should be pretty much road ready. I gotta figure out what's going on here because this side, I'm not sure if it's the bigger tire and this wheel is stanced more. So I'm not sure if that's putting more outward pressure on this side, which in turn is pushing it down further because that's like almost in the wheel lip. And it also has different side tires, so maybe, I'm not sure. But hopefully the bed will go back on tomorrow, maybe. We'll have to see. Gotta figure out the steering. That's kind of confusing. I think it's definitely the pitman arm. And then wheels and tires, really. Still gotta do the transmission. That won't be for a while. So, yeah. It's a lot better now. It has a purpose, and the sun is gonna really fuck up this outro. So, yeah. Hell of a lot better than it was. The dry shaft's not even fully bolted in. The U-bolts aren't even tight. Okay, I have a lot more work to do. But the bed is almost ready to go back on. I just gotta tighten up U-bolts, make a brake line, probably bleed them while the bed's off. Tighten up the shocks, and the bed can go back on. So there we go. So again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. What next video is gonna be, I have no idea. Yeah, no clue. I got some work to do to my truck. A decent amount of work to do to my truck. Starlight, window tint. I guess not that much. So finish up the interior, door gaps. I gotta get fenders for it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. And I will see you guys in the next one.